Yes, friends, with this episode, we are in the 23rd episode. If we want to summarize, you come here to the render output section from the camera part. To close this safe frame, it's enough to click on the tick. Here, friends, the camera tab closes. Let's move to scene 1 from here. Let's move to scene 2 like this, and see our scene in general, friends. Now, what are the main parts now we need to do, and that I will explain in summary, friends? If you want a scene to be effective, you need to create an effective design. You need to use effective models and effective textures, friends. As we said at the beginning, if this lesson is going to serve as a summary, as we mentioned at the start, quality design or quality modeling, quality model. Look, modeling and model. What is modeling? When designing in the style of group components, modeling the models in the style of groups and components, creating the CAD shell design, that is, designing the shell of the walls and subfloors and details like these, baseboards, or different details, then equipping them with quality models here. Then adjusting the quality ratios of the interior textures with the quality models we use and equipping them with elements like spotlights, lights, hidden lighting, TV, accessories, and elements of lived-in feel, friends. If you do these, you will get a quality render regardless of which render engine you use. Friends, you will get all of them. But in V-Ray, we have a section in the render settings. When we come to the render settings, friends, what we will do here is that the high or high plus section here already changes our parts here. We will not make any adjustments here, friends. The section that explains the settings here, or the details of the settings, or is the help booklet in V-Ray's own chaos group section. Everything is explained there. However, the difference between low and high plus in the quality section you have made here changes all the quality settings, friends. The reason we set the exposure value to auto here is this, friends. Look, when I set it to auto, it gives a value of 11.384. Increasing or decreasing this or is related to the light inside, either blowing out or increasing. Normally, when I come here, I can achieve the same effect by increasing it from the exposure here. Friends, that's why it's a more logical method to increase and decrease the exposure from here. The exposure there and the exposure here actually work on the same principle. It's a method that ensures the light inside the scene increases equally everywhere, friends. In V-Ray, when we set the exposure to auto, it means the scene lighting is adjusted automatically. Initially, we were setting the white balance to auto as well. We will not set it to auto. The blue causes the surroundings to become bluish, friends. That's why we will continue without setting these to auto. You can use the light as you wish. You can use sunlight. Look, when I go to the sunlight section, the intensity of the sun is at a level of 1. The shadow of the sun is at a level of 10. If you notice, there is a soft light inside. This is because the multiplier is set to 10. So, a sharp light is not coming inside, friends. A light with a soft shadow is coming in. So the shadow is very soft. Because it comes in extremely soft, a natural image is formed inside like this, friends. Apart from that, when we go outside, friends, look, as I always say, as we mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, there are 2 rectangle lights here, friends. There are also 2 here. These serve as supporting lights here. Inside, the IS lights here and all the hidden lighting inside actually add an ambience to this place. For example, if you want, there is a light strip we used here. You can also place a rectangle light facing downwards on this light strip. It would illuminate this part more, as if light is coming down from here. Because in the renders, even though there is light in front of this part, it didn't illuminate here much. We only increased the light here by playing with the curved value over there. This was my normal value. I increased the brightness level here by pulling it upwards like this. When your render resolution increases, you can also enhance it by adjusting these parts here. By unchecking these boxes here, you can see the effects. Friends, for example, look here. Let's say which one. I remove the denoiser. Let me remove this one too. Only the exposure should be active. Look, normally Our render is like this. That is, when we first rendered, it was like this. On top of that, a filmic tone is added. Color balance is added, a curve is added, another curve is added, lens effects come in, and denoiser is applied. Friends, the work evolves into a section like this. Your color success, your texture success, it actually shows that this part here, design is variable. A strong design will make the render even stronger. The other parts, like the book and object sections, are parts we created to strengthen the ambiance a bit more. They are all the same, friends. In the following sections, I will talk a bit about the sites, where you can download free textures and models. Friends, they are also important. And when you purchase this set, I will give you 20 interior sets as a gift. You can use them in your scene as well. Now, there is an important part here, but I will explain it in the next lesson. It's a part related to this model, friends. See you in our next lesson. I think I have provided some important tips here. If you follow them, you will get very beautiful renders in all render engines, friends.